Good morning, everyone. It's time for today's episode of the Daily Stand-Up. Lee Henson here from AgileDad. Without any further ado, let's get started. Today, I have a treat for you. I've got a very special guest, a good friend of mine, and a certified Agile coach, Jim York. Jim, how's it going?
It is going great. How are you today, Lee?
You know what? Better than a Kardashian doing a crossword puzzle. I'm not sure they can do those, but if it's about makeup or something, maybe. But anyway, I digress. So today we want to talk to you about an incredible, important Agile topic. Now, here's what's going on. Lately, if you've listened to the podcast, we've been doing a lot about product ownership, product management, product governance, and we've been talking a lot about product-related issues. But I have to admit, I have to confess, I was a darn good product owner back in the day, but I can't say that my specialty is product ownership. So I decided to bring in an expert to help me understand and to help you understand. So Jim, that's your calling. You're the expert. So with that being said, I want to start off with a simple question. So you are well known as an authority in the industry with regard to many topics, but specifically with product ownership. Tell me what you see going into organizations from a coaching perspective. What are some of the common things you see, downfalls or things that organizations need to work on with regard to product ownership? Where do you see product ownership in the world today?
Oh, wow. We want to start with the gaps, huh? Well, gosh, where do you start? Knowing what your product is. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that's a great place to start. What is your product? Who is your customer? Who's the target market? Before we even get into identifying a product owner and empowering them and giving them the support they need to excel in that job, just basically having organizations understand, what is it that we provide to our customers in terms of a product? Who are those customers? Ensuring that we got a keen understanding of what that customer's needs are and how our product fits that space. Yeah, that empathy with the customer and understanding essentially what's their job to be done, and how the product integrates into that job to be done. It's so often that the product is not the job to be done. The product is something that integrates into a larger system of things that the customer is doing to accomplish some outcome that they desire. You look at something like as simple as a product definition, like a car. I mean, not that it's a simple product, but people are like, oh, that's clearly the product. And it's like, yeah, that's the product, but that product addresses a customer need, and those needs are diverse. It's maybe I need to take my kids to school. Well, there's lots of options on how you might get your kids to school. You might be doing Zoom, these days for so what does the car have anything to do with that? Versus they're in a classroom and you've got to physically get them to the classroom. I mean, there's lots of options available to the customer for that. They could be riding the bus or going in a carpool, or maybe you're running the carpool, or maybe you prefer to take them there yourself. Or there's all sorts of options available to the customer to accomplish their job to be done. The key question for a product owner is one is, who is that customer? What is their need? And how does my product fit in the context of addressing that need? And things change, right? Things change. Yeah. All of a sudden it's, we're doing school from home. It's like, it's totally different. So what happened to, our product that addressed that particular need? So having that insight and empathy with the customer and being able to stay with them as that need evolves and changes over time, critically important before we even get to backlog. It's
I think you're right. One of the things I've discovered, though, is for whatever reason, every CEO I meet, every executive that I meet, CXO will say, right? Every executive that I meet says, I'm responsible for the carpool, so I want to bring all the kids to school in a Ferrari because that's agile. I want to scale, and I want to do it in a Ferrari. And I'm like, I'm not sure that the product that you're trying to build is going to meet the need of what you're trying to do. And it's just
yeah, absolutely. And one thing that is often missed is that product owners are human, right? They make errors, and that's expected. And that's part of being agile, right? Is like, I might have this brilliant idea that I'm going to run the carpool with a Ferrari. How do we run a quick, cheap test to find out whether that's going to be a viable solution or not? And I would suggest you don't go out and buy a Ferrari. to run that test, right? You've got to do something else that exposes the limitations and where your solution falls short of hitting the target. That's really the important, and that's one thing that I found most organizations. You asked about what they struggle with. One of the things also is just the ability to create an increment. Mm-hmm. And people get so wrapped around the axle, they don't really understand what an increment is. An increment is your working product. It's as simple as that. If people think about it being the thing we're building in this sprint, increments are additive. It's what we built this sprint plus everything that came before.
Right.
And you can have multiple increments created within a given sprint. I mean, I have some clients that literally deploy hundreds of increments every day. It's the nature of their business. They simply have to do that. And I'm not saying building them, I'm saying deploying them into their production environment. Because if they didn't do that, they'd be eaten by their competition, because their competition does that competently every single day. If they didn't, they wouldn't be in the business. So when I walk in with many organizations implementing Scrum, the concept of an increment being your working system and doing that at least every sprint, producing an increment and having that thing that you can look at and go, yeah, that Ferrari fell short, and doing so in a way that we're not necessarily investing in all the effort to build a Ferrari. It's figuring out how to slice and dice things. It's the art of crafting that product backlog into small, easily digestible bits of valuable increments that you can inspect and get some insights on.
And it's so neat, because I think, and I hope, and this is what I hope in my mind of minds, I hope that when people hear you speak, Jim, that they're making the equation and it's resolving in their mind. So here's the resolution that I've come up with based on what you said. 1, it doesn't take a Ferrari. If you could just do simple tests to figure out what you need to do, you're going to be better off. 2, the importance of knowing your customer. If you don't know your customer implicitly and get them involved, both at the planning stages and at the resolution stages, to resolve that you built the right product or service, that you're losing most of what product ownership stands for. And 3, it takes a village. And what I mean by that is, like you said, it took a team of people who believed in what you were doing to make it all happen. It's not just resting on a product owner's shoulders. And I think too often in the environments that I see, people just try to pile it on the product owner and say everything's the product owner's responsibility. Mm-hmm. And it just, we can't go on that way in an agile world and expect things to change.
It takes a village. I've never seen a product owner in any non-trivial environment be able to do it just by themselves.
Right.
Even in the most trivial environments, unless you are your own customer as product owner and there's no other customers, you have this interaction with that customer. But the developers and various others in the product ecosystem all contribute to insights, that creation in the mind that takes place before the creation in reality, all of that product backlog refinement stuff that's going on. It takes the whole group to figure that out and come up with hypotheses that we're going to try out.
All right, Jim. Well, we went long, but I got 3. I have to ask you the 3 questions, and it's not what did you do today, what did you do yesterday, and do you have any impediments? But the 3 questions. So here's question number 1. Question number 1, if someone was starting out as a product owner, they were brand new, and you had a single small piece of advice you can give them, 15 words or less, what piece of advice would you give a product owner who's just starting out, just learning the ropes? What would you tell them is the most important thing that they could focus their attention on?
Oh my goodness. Understand your customer.
Good. Love it. Question number 2. If I had someone who felt like they've been doing this for a series of years and they were a well-seasoned, experienced product owner, and you could give them one piece of advice going forward to help them just have a better purview and to help them see, into the crystal ball of what they should be working on now, what one item would you tell someone who is experienced that they would have to grow?
It really depends on that individual and kind of where they've gone to, because there are a lot of people with a lot of experience, and depending on the context of the environment that they're in. But I guess the thing I would say, Lee, in a nutshell, is consider the whole product ecosystem.
Right.
We don't often think about all the dimensions of what makes a product work from a customer's perspective. And that's real product ownership. A lot of times we give these product owners these jobs of guide this Scrum team. Well, luckily, the latest version of the Scrum Guide explains that the developers are everyone that needs to do anything related to making the product work for the customer. It's like, wow, that's big. And that's been something that's been a short sight, I think, in execution. Not that the Scrum framework has changed with this latest version. I think the intent and the spirit of it has remained the same from early days.
Very early, yep.
Just the words that are in there now are more clear, more explicit, and simpler in many ways. So I would encourage anyone who has not done so. They might be familiar with earlier versions of the Scrum Guide, but I would encourage them to go out and read that latest version, the November 2020 version. They might see some things in there that could help them up their game if they were to take that and put it into action. And
last question, obviously. If someone wants to learn more about what you're doing, or if you have a shameless plug for a book, a website, a blog, whatever, anything you have, I just want people to be able to reach you if they want to reach you, because this has been amazing. You've shared some really powerful insight. You've given some great information. You've helped uplift a lot of the people who listen to my podcast. And from my heart, I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. So share with us anything that's important. And if you don't want to do that, that's okay. I have an alternate question. The alternate question is, and you can do both. The alternate question is, if I gave you the power to change one thing regarding Agile without any ramifications, or regarding product ownership within Agile without any ramifications, what lever would you pull first? So you can do both.
Yeah. Okay. So the first one is, if you want to know more about me, you can follow me on Twitter. I'm at FoxHedge. And my company is FoxHedge Ltd. It's FoxHedgeLtd.com is the website. I co-founded that company with my wife, Melissa, 14 and a half years ago.
Wow.
She is our product owner, by the way. So if you ever want to know what's going on with FoxHedge and you want to get in our product backlog, hey, talk to Melissa, because she's the go-to person for that. So what is the one thing, I guess, Lee, the thing that I'm frustrated with that I would like to change is all of the bashing of Agile, and that, and I'm collectively, in the various aspects of Agile, like Scrum, there's a lot of Agile bashing out there. And it's like, oh, we got to come out with, version 2 or version 3 of Agile. And it's like, I'm not sure people have tried version 1 yet.
I was just about to say, I don't think they understand version 1 yet.
Yeah. So it's like, give it a try the way that it's actually, designed and in environments for which it is built, and give it a chance. Don't give it lip service and then say it didn't work.
Jim.
So that would be the one thing I would change, is have people actually try it for real.
Try and
get some guidance, get some help. If you don't understand it, ask questions. And there are folks, Lee, like you and others that are experts in this area, that you got people you can reach out to and ask for support if you don't understand it. But be open to it and give it a try.
Jim, that was powerful advice. I really appreciate your time. I know time's the most valuable thing you have, and I appreciate you carving out a few minutes to spend with the Daily Stand-Up.
It's been my pleasure, Lee. Really
Take care. And as always, if you have questions about this topic or any others, feel free to reach out to Jim or reach out to me. You can reach us both directly. We would love to answer your questions. Anything, if you forgot his information, you can rewind and listen to it again. But if not, you can send an email to learnmore@agiledad.com, and we'd love to fill it in, and we'll make sure that we pass along anything we get to Jim. Make sure you share this with your other friends. Show us some love. Show us some likes, show us some praise. And as always, we want you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile. Until next time, do take care, my friends. We'll see you.